What do I do if a girl hasn't brought up where is this going after seeing her for 4 months?
Well, if she's not brought it up and not hinted, then that would tell me that, and this is assuming she's a normal, healthy woman, that would tell me that she's not feeling it, or you, for whatever reason. And if you're applying what's in the book, she should be in love with you by week 6 or week 7. And so normally when I see that, it's usually because the guy doesn't know what's in the book. He thinks he's doing well, and then I get on a phone and I do a phone session with him. And then come to find out there's lots of things that he's doing that are unattractive. He's calling too much, he's texting too much. He realizes or admits sheepishly on the phone call that he's actually over pursuing when initially he's like, I did everything right. And so as I go through and I ask the guys to explain to me, all right, like tell me everything that happened in chronological from the time you met leading to where it is today, and based on what he's doing and saying and what she's doing and saying, despite them trying to bullshit me or bullshitting themselves, because guys don't typically like to admit that they screwed up, especially when they screwed up and did something to turn the girl off.
Yeah.
It's like I can read between the lines, because if he can tell me what the woman is saying, I know exactly what she's thinking, what she's feeling, despite what he's trying to convince me of. I can tell where she's at and how she feels about him.
Yeah.
And so it's usually the guys that are cherry picking. They're not really taking the book seriously. They watch a few videos. They learn some pickup skills, how to ask a girl out on a date, how to seduce her, and beyond that, they're like, oh, I got this. And then when it's several months later, like in this case, what do you say, 4 months,
4 months.
and she's still not bringing up anything about exclusivity or hey, where's this going? That just tells me she's not feeling it. And the reason she's not feeling that is because he's displaying too much unattractive behavior. Maybe he's being indecisive. Maybe he's not really leading.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not sure of himself. Maybe he lets her push him around, walk all over him, treat him like a doormat, cancel plans at the last minute, jerk him around, show little signs of disrespect to him in front of other people, and he lets her slide without calling her out on it. And so she starts to get the impression that this guy is soft and I can push him around and I got him wrapped around my finger and he's a little puppy dog like most guys are. Then she's not going to respect him. And if women don't respect you, they don't love you. There's no way they can love you.
Because 4 months is a long time.
Yeah.
For a girl not to mention anything, it's like you're basically her buddy. Or
Yeah, you're the fuck buddy, the friends with benefits. I mean, we're assuming that he's having sex with her. I had a email a video news that I was doing the other day, and it was like the very last line in the email, and he's like, sex is not my focus. I just want her to feel more feminine and open up to me. I was like, sounds like he's hanging out as a friend and taking her out on dates and going to lunches and getting a kiss in the cheek or a hug. And, guys do that too, thinking, oh, well, she just had a breakup, so I'm gonna be really nice and be respectful. And then they go take her on a date, blow a bunch of money, and now her belly's full. And what's she doing? She's calling, texting Chad Thundercock, hey, I'm home, why don't you come over?
Yeah.
And he comes over, rearranges her insides, clogs up her toilet with the beer and wings that he ate. And then the dude that took her out and spent $500 the day before on nice restaurants and stuff and got a peck in the cheek or a hug, he comes over like a nice guy and unclogs the toilet from Chad Thundercock's beer and wings.
That's terrible.
That he destroyed it. And then later that night, he's back over there again, laying the pipe. Meanwhile, this guy's going, I'm going to be respectful, and she's making him wait. But in reality, there was a video that we're going to do Friday that I don't know if Chunky shared it with you. It was this girl was being interviewed by this guy, and he was asking her if she had she said she was single. Then she starts talking, and come to find out she's seeing 5 guys.
Okay.
And she's like, I got 5 boyfriends. He's like, are you sleeping with all 5 of those guys? She's like, no. And apparently she's only sleeping with one of them. And then she starts talking about how you have guys for different things. Guys that take you out, guys that listen to you, guys that when you got a problem, you call and they fix things for you. And there's one guy that's broke, doesn't have a job, he's a total mess, and she fucks him all the time.
Okay.
And she's like, there's no way I would ever have a relationship. And the guy's like, so why are you sleeping with that guy instead of the other 4 that are got their lives together?
Yeah.
And she's just, because it's good dick.
Oh my gosh.
That was it. He was dicking her down in a way that she liked. The sex was good, and she just very matter of factly, she's giving the pussy up, having sex with the guy that she's never gonna have a relationship with, and yet you got these other guys that are beta males that are, taking her to expensive things,
Mm-hmm.
and she's probably telling, well, I'm not ready yet, and I'm
Right.
not ready for a relationship. I'm still getting over my ex, and meanwhile, she's getting torn up every other night from this dude that's a total loser, but he
Yeah.
dicks her down properly, gives her the happy finish that she likes. And then the other four guys have no idea. Well, it's going viral on Twitter, so
Yeah.
maybe they're hearing about it now. So that'll be a funny one to watch.
Hmm. That's interesting because they say that in spiritual sense, if someone has trauma, if they don't like themselves, if they hate themselves, if they have negative energy, and you allow someone like to enter your body physically, how she's sleeping with this guy, you're allowing that negative energy to enter your energy. So it's interesting that she's choosing the worst guy who doesn't have anything to enter her
Because he acts like
because
a man.
that will
He's
give
more of a man than the other four guys that are spending money on her and have their lives together because they're too nice. And that was, I
yeah.
think, part of what she was alluding to. That these guys, they're nice guys. They have a lot going for them, but they're just a bunch of pussies.
Mm.
And so they don't turn her on.
Yeah.
But the deadbeat that's got no future that she would never have a relationship with, he's fucking her brains out. And
She's
she's
probably secretly in love with him or something.
maybe.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is he's still getting access to the promised land because you may have seen some of the, especially when we talk and we do the reels and the videos that you always got, a small segment of the guys going, oh, it's just looks, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
It's just money. That's all women want. They only want money, and yet here you got this smoking hot girl. She's in a red dress, very voluptuous, beautiful girl,
Mm-hmm.
and she's talking about the 5 boyfriends that she has. It's like so at least 4 of the guys think that she's their girlfriend and they don't know about each other. And there's the one dude that she's actually hooking up with, the Chad Thundercock, if you will, that doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
And so when you explain things like that, and these guys, no, it's money, and it's like, okay, well, if it's money and looks, why do you see all these famous actors or CEOs that are worth millions, hundreds of millions, or they're billionaires,
Yeah.
and yet they have everything going for them, and yet their wives still leave them?
Yeah. And recently, I don't know if you've seen it on social media, but like, for example, Selena Gomez, she has a new boyfriend now, and he's like really ugly.
He's fugly.
He's really ugly. And people are like, how? How in the world did this beautiful girl get in a relationship with this ugly guy? And then there's Ariana Grande. I don't know if you know who she is.
She likes those bad boys.
She has the ugliest boyfriend as well.
She is absolutely stunning, but the reason why those girls are with those guys because that's the only guys that they found that have more masculinity than most men, and that's the issue. That's why the girl in the viral Twitter video is sleeping with the deadbeat because out of all the guys that she's got, he's the only one that acts like a man, and she would rather have sex. Oh damn!
I'm gonna put it in the screen.
She would rather have sex with a guy that's got no future and risk a pregnancy with him instead of the other guys that are nice, they're timid, they're okay with getting pecks in the cheeks or hugs, and the promise of more later. Because she's so beautiful, she's like kryptonite to most men. And so she's able to pull the wool over these guys' eyes, and her attitude, you can tell, is like, hey, they say yes.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. She doesn't tell them everything, but they can't put 2 and 2 together that the reason why she's not sleeping with them is because she's getting her brains fucked up with somebody else.
They'll figure it out somehow.
Maybe, maybe not. A lot of those guys don't. He looks like a baby Mark Zuckerberg.
That's Ariana Grande.
He looks like he's 15.
Yeah.
Looks like a child. Like a teenage boy.
It's hilarious. People are raging over it on social media. People are saying ugly guys are the new trend for 2024.
It's probably because he's got more testosterone than any other guy that she meets in her little entourage. I mean, because you think about it, she's a performer. So she's, dealing with either women or gay guys that are in, so most of the men in her business that she performs with and hangs out every day are either chicks or gay dudes. And so it's probably pretty rare to meet a guy that has any kind of amount of testosterone in his body.
Or they're like super cocky and they expect the girl to like do
Look,
everything.
Pete Davidson, because he dated
Her, Ariana Grande.
for he's He tore through all the pretty girls, Kate Beckinsale, just
Kim Kardashian.
one after another. Yeah. When women don't feel beautiful and sexy and safe and totally in their feminine, when they feel like they're too much in their masculine and their man is not leading, that's what they do. They butch their hair.
I would never.
You'll see a lot of women after they've had kids that'll do that. They stop wearing makeup, they butch the hair, and they go, "Oh, it's because the kids are always grabbing the hair." It's like she just doesn't want to look pretty anymore because she doesn't feel beautiful.
Yeah.
Because the husband is not opening her up. He's not dating and courting her properly anymore. He's not making her feel heard and understood. He comes home stressed all the time, from work or whatever, and the love story stops.
Mm.
And so they basically become roommates.
Yeah.
And she's like, who I got to impress? She doesn't feel beautiful. He doesn't date her anymore. Doesn't take the date night hasn't happened in months. And like every weekend, it's the same thing. Hey, let's put a video in and try to keep the kids busy. We'll order some pizzas. Here's some 2-liter sodas. And when they fall asleep, maybe we'll have a glass of wine together and get a little freaky. And she's never in the mood. I got a headache. I'm tired. I've been up all day. And it's, the guy doesn't act like a man, so she doesn't feel safe. She doesn't feel beautiful. She doesn't feel attractive. She feels like she's with another woman in a relationship. And it's like, you see it. And then often what also happens is the women start gaining weight. And then, they dress the same. The husband gains weight. She gains weight. She's butched her hair, no makeup. They both kind of look androgynous.
Mm-hmm.
She walks with a scowl on her face. And then you got the kids, and the husband's like the caboose, just following her around like a little beta male that's been totally assimilated and emasculated, and he's just basically a feminine eunuch at that point, and they're not having sex. I had a guy that I knew years ago. This is back when I was in real estate. This dude was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Family was very wealthy, and he married this woman that she wasn't even that attractive. And after they had a couple kids, she butched her hair, never wore makeup, got big. And I remember the last time I talked to this guy, he's like, they hadn't had sex in 13, 14 years. And she had this dude so wrapped around her finger, he did whatever she wanted, and he was getting nothing. He was getting no pussy. They lived in a big mansion, and she was just a nasty bitch to him all the time, and he put up with it. And we were always like, dude, bro, this guy was so successful, so wealthy, so well off. He had everything going for him.
Yeah.
And yet he chose to stay married to this woman who just was not even attractive. She just completely, there was nothing, she didn't do anything to even try to look attractive.
That's insane.
And she resented the hell out of him because he was such a bitch. And we didn't really respect him as a man because he was a bitch. It's like, really, you've been together that long and you're not having 13, 14 years? It's last I heard they were still together, so I've talked to guys that I've done phone sessions with. They're like, they get into their late 50s, early 60s, mid 60s or whatever, and the kids are kind of grown at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been living in separate bedrooms for like 15, 17 years and not even having sex.
Yeah.
And then hey, we've been together since we were high school sweethearts, when they were teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy goes out and gets a wardrobe consultant, gets a new hairdo or a hair piece or whatever, goes to the gym, works out, and then they just start going through a lot of women and making up for lost time and having the best times of their lives. And oftentimes the kids will be pissed at them.
Yeah.
For a couple of years. Oh, you left mom. It's like, well, dad didn't bother to inform them that we haven't had sex in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like quiet desperation. Why would you put up with that? You're literally roommates with this person.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no passion, no intimacy. It's like you're just roommates
That's unhealthy.
that tolerate one another.
Yeah. No.
It happens a lot. A lot of guys will put up with it because they don't think they can do better.
Did he cheat on her ever?
The guy, the wealthy guy?
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge. I mean, he would go to strip bars occasionally, and she'd get pissed off about that. But she could just get pissed about everything.
He's definitely getting something somewhere. There's no way.
The way he acted, he was such a beta male. He was such a pussy. But he turned women off. They were just disgusted with him.
Oh no.
He's so soft.
What a waste of a lifetime. 13 years.
A lot of guys do that, and that was going back 20 years ago.
Wow.
Staying in it for the kids. That was what they tell themselves.
F the kids.
Well, the
F
kids
the
are going to be
kids.
fucked up because mom and dad, it's pretty obvious they couldn't stand each other.
Yeah.
I had I had another guy I knew that I grew up with, and his girlfriend was real pretty, and they were like 16, 17. He knocked her up in high school,
Mm.
and or no, he knocked her up after high school, I think it was. They were just like hooking up again, and then he didn't really love her, but he settled because she got pregnant. And I
Mhm.
remember, I don't know, 15 years after that, we were in our early 30s. I went to, our mutual good friend's wedding, and he was just, this guy was handsome, and he was built in high school, and he was just, he housed, his wife housed. They were big and fat
Oh.
and miserable, and they hated each other. The kids were fat, and just watching the four of them sit at the table together at the wedding and just barely speaking, and the kids just kind of just obese zombies, and you're like, damn. It's like you could tell he was just mentally, he was just wrecked.
Yeah.
He was not the same, confident, cocky dude he was in high school.
What's up with these podcasts? They're kind of depressing today.
Because it's most people major in minor things. Most
Yeah.
most people settle. That's the harsh reality.
Mhm.
This is your future when you act like a bitch. If you act like a bitch, women are going to treat you like a bitch.
Right.
You let a woman dominate you, it's like she'll butch all her hair and won't give you any pussy. And guys will put up with that.
Mhm.
They'll rationalize it.